one more video, Keepers of the Flame. So, trigger motherfucking warning. I don't know when this was made available. I didn't do any research on it. But the William, Sascha, Riley story is becoming more readily available to the public. And I cannot emphasize enough that, number one, you need to take care of yourself. If you have any of that type of trauma, consider thinking about maybe just supporting those reviewing it without getting into the horrific details of it. Now, for those of us who have known about this since before those of us who feel it in our bones collectively have had to stay silent on it. It's still difficult to digest. Those of us who see the patterns, those of us who can see clearly how this plays out, how the general population has manifested this on the planet, because this is a co-creation. This is not a, oh, the devil made him do it. No, you were holding the devil's hand the whole time, and he was whispering this in everybody's ear, that you were under a system that is designed to not allow your system to be able to hear that. And that system is trauma and abuse. Every single solitary system on the planet uses it. So, I'm not requiring you, I'm not demanding, I'm not suggesting. I'm simply saying that yes, what you already have experienced, probably firsthand, exists in some cases, not every case, but in some cases, much, much worse forms behind church, Masonic, government, and other doors that you have been trained to listen to as some sort of truth. Sorry, the cat just decided she was going to leap up. But those institutions that have distracted you have taken over the narrative and have controlled things from behind closed doors. Okay, this is what authority looks like. This is what hierarchy looks like. This is the true face of hierarchy and authority. When we hand over our power, our autonomy, and our sovereignty, this is what happens. And now, I'm not going to get into the details. It is past House of 10,000 Corpses. It's past that. And I have investigated medical history as to how and why these things can happen, because it's very often chemically induced. And that is not an excuse. I am saying that the hierarchy uses chemicals to get these people in a state where they are in complete compliance and they have no recollection. And not, again, not an excuse. I am saying that I have come across knowledge. Greek Septuagint is one of those things, but there's other ancient medicine that gives lean to this. This is why when we have a whole entire fucking system that refuses to allow you to look into the depths of our history to find some sort of what the fuck is going on here, and they forbid you, and they cover it up, and they lie, and they cheat, and they steal, and they traumatize a collective into having little to no choice in the matter of just leaving it alone, because they are simply in the process of trying to fucking survive. This is the result of that. This is the result of authority, and this is a result of hierarchy. So when we have to look ourselves in the face as to what the fuck we have allowed ourselves to become, because we are not going to change anyone at the top of this authority system. This hierarchy isn't going to change. We have to be the change. We have to vet this within ourselves. We have to look at it. We have to sit with it at whatever point you're ready to do that. And if you're not ready to do that, my dear heart, you already are sitting in it. But some people willingly turn a blind eye, and this is the high vibe community. I'm holding my own fucking community to the fucking fire on this one. This high vibe, we're just gonna ignore the fucking news. Okay? And that's not coming from a place of trauma. That's coming with a place of cowardice. So there's a difference between I have PTSD and I cannot, because I'm already dealing with it. I don't need another situation, okay? I'm already in it. You're processing that already, which is why you don't need any more of it, because you already know. And this type of situation for some of us can be cathartic, because it is a validation of, yep, it happens to a lot more people than we have been allowed to know about. It happens to a lot more people in these hierarchical authority systems, authoritative systems, whatever you want to call it. This is it. Okay? This is what we subconsciously, through not reading our soul contracts, through not reading through every law passed, through not, because again, I'm not victim blaming here. I am telling you that the system was designed to function in such a way that we were not even allowed the calm in our central nervous system to ask ourselves the reasonable question, what the fuck kind of what kind of fruit is this producing on our tree? This is why the fruit was forbidden in the first place. We cannot taste the fruits of our own fucking labor, because if we did, we'd be like, this fruit tastes like shit. Let's never grow this tree again. Let's learn from our, okay? And again, if you're biblically tied, probably not the place for you. So, if you're Abrahamically tied, if you are religiously tied, probably not the best place for you, because I do not adhere to that whatsoever, and I see straight through it. The energetic patterns flowing through that are one of the major mechanisms as to the energetic production in this matrix system we have created. And again, I don't call myself an atheist. I don't call myself an agnostic. I don't label myself, okay? But I do believe in energy, because I can see how it functions and forms. And it's not a psychic ability. Everybody has this ability. It's just whether your central nervous system is calm enough to let this type of thing rise. Okay. So, now we come to the part where we get to choose. We get to choose what we support. Are we going to support the system? Door-to-door salesman. It's not ice. It's door-to-door salesman. Boy, they got some fucking galls. Dirty choices, man. Okay. Even if it wasn't, I ain't answering it. No, I'm gonna let the dog bark. That's his job. You are not safe here. You were never safe here. Bye, Felicia. Okay. So, okay. So, see how to handle that? You literally pretend like they don't exist because they don't exist. They're an illusion. That whatever. Okay. Hey, Bisky. I know who's a vicious devilish. Okay, so I know he's a good boy. Okay, see how you handle that? Okay. So when we are processing this, when we are bringing this into the light, and this is you know, I've talked about this a bit, that it's gonna hit, but it's not for me to tell you how it's gonna hit, when it's gonna hit, and where it's gonna hit, because that just causes more anxiety and worry. Okay, so that's fruitless. When we have an opportunity like this, and it is an opportunity, it is a very small window to look this dead in the face, or sit with whatever we've had to sit with, right? We're going to need to come to the conclusion that what we've been busting our ass our entire lives so that we could afford to live here, but now the affording to live here has now funded our demise and our imprisonment. It's funded that. So we really need to like get out of the fear mode and into a, do I want to fund this kind of life? Okay, I don't need to fund people doing this shit. I don't need to. That's what you're doing. Stop kidding yourself. Okay, these people have parasited off of us so that they could do this and pay people a lot of money to just shut the fuck up. Okay, we funded this unwillingly, unknowingly, obviously. This is the subconscious undercurrent darkness. Okay, so what do we want to fund? If we don't want to fund the banks that are raking us across the coals, if we don't want to fund the government that's putting Gestapo in our streets, if we don't want to fund the corporations that are robbing us blind and making us billions while abusing the shit out of its own employees, we don't work there, we cancel the Amazon account, we cancel the Spotify. Spotify runs ICE ads. Okay, we cancel all the subscriptions to everything harming us. We cancel it. We take out our money from the banks. We take out our 401ks. We take out everything. What stocks, bonds, whatever. No, we are finished giving you any sort of energy. This is what I'm talking about. This is the parasitic nature of what's happening right now. And it's not we're just gonna sit here and feel really bad and scream at the abyss. We're gonna like calculate how much we're worth, and then we're gonna say, you know what, I'm not putting anything into this sort of life, so anybody can live that way in the planet, period, the end. I want my neighbors to be happy and healthy. I want my neighbors to be in their fucking full vibe of just beaming their beautiful light out into the world, which is much needed right now. That's what I want. I want the freaking globe lit up like a freaking Christmas tree, pagan tree, whatever the hell. Either or. Lit up. Just beaming out back into the ethos, going, we are joyful, amazing creatures here, and this is how we're going to vibe out with the rest of the universe, rather than going, we are about to be a black motherfucking hole. Okay? So, that involves deconstructing. And that's a difficult process when you honestly believe that as a collective, and this is the problem, because we're so entrained to be disconnected from every single solitary, even our loved ones, our own children, we're designed to be directly disconnected from them, even when they're standing in front of our face. Okay? This is where the problem really is. We have been entrained to be so disconnected from actual reality that we are buying into illusions that are stressful, traumatic, draining, and we uplift it like some sort of freakish credit report, which isn't going to matter when you are in a mass grave. It's not going to fucking matter. None of it's going to matter when you are working 16 hours a day at a freaking labor camp with barely any food and water. It's not going to freaking matter, is it? No, you're right. So as a collective, stop. And I realize that there's something like you might have medication, you might have this, that, and the other thing. Everything matters though. So if you can, by any means, cancel your subscriptions to the shit that's rotting your brain. And I'm going to have to get off the thing that's right here in front of you too. Okay, so I have my own stuff to deal with. If you can call the bank and take a forbearance and say, I'm not supporting a system that is actively offing us in the streets and shoving poor people into freaking concentration camps. No, not finding that. Bye, Felicia. Okay, take everything out you can. Take whatever resources that fund this, because we did fund this. This is the real collective like reckoning. We funded this. We can defund it. We can take our toys, our energy, our time, our resources, and put them into something that actually means a good life. Not one that gives the illusion of it, one that actually is a good life. And this does not mean zillion-dollar mansions and shiny cars. We're going to have to start really getting on the groove with that one, because we've been conned and manipulated that if we just get the mansion, or we just get the shiny car, or we just get the blah, 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 whatever it is, that's an illusion. Everything they con you into wanting, everything that's put on a screen and flaunted in front of you, a romantic relationship, whatever the fuck it is, okay? Whatever it is. They are conning you into believing that that's how you're supposed to want to be in the world. And they make it look pretty. They make it feel pretty. They make it blah, 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 blah. Okay? It's a con game. And you bought into it, quite literally. When in reality, the reality is that there's massive amounts of people that are in struggle right now. And we're not paying any attention to it. Because especially the spiritual community, I hate this about, they're just not vibing high enough. That's why they're like that. Okay, it's because we don't allow them to exist in society how they need to exist in society. We have taken away their jobs, we've taken away their sacred spaces, and they don't have access to who they need to be in this multi-dimensional fractal ecosystem. That's why we have addicts and homeless people. Okay, we've lost our humanity. It left thousands of years ago. It just left. We kicked it out of the building, and we said, you know what? These are just, objects to be used. Okay, that's what we did to ourselves. We allowed that to happen. We fostered it. We nurtured it. We watered it. We fertilized it. And here we are. Okay, so shifting the narrative. I cannot explain to you how much that unknown is so crucial right now. Because the light is what we know, and the dark is what we don't know. And I can understand that people get really afraid of the dark because they didn't know this was going on. But for a lot of us, this was already in the light. So when we look at, people commenting, I'm scared of the dark. So many of us get really confused about those spiritual people that claim to know how energy works and are talking negatively about the dark or snakes or any other natural creature that needs to exist here for the ecosystem to function correctly. We don't get it. We are like, excuse me? So it is a severe red flag when somebody is demonizing anything, because it exists for a reason. It has a function here. And then we've got communities demonizing, comparing psychopaths to fucking lions who need to eat. It's part of the ecosystem. You don't just get to negate that because it makes you feel uncomfortable. See, we constantly compare ourselves to other species, and somehow it becomes part of nature that we have psychopaths in our system. No, we have psychopaths in our system because our system was created to create psychopaths. Okay, shamans, real medicine men and women back in the day, they didn't allow the psychopaths to have power. They made sure that they were not allowed to get in any form or way involved with the oversight of another vulnerable human being. They were not allowed that position in the tribe. In some severe cases, I've read that and heard from different sources that they were taken out or they were pushed out of the tribe. Okay, that's how we used to be. I'm not saying we need to be that in the future. I am saying that's how we were naturally back before patriarchal took over. Okay. Okay. So, energetically, what is the universe responding with this? So not only do we have to remove the resources, we have to come to the realization that what's being collected in the cosmos right now, which is the sun, the shining the light on, the spotlight is on the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine, the Venus and the Mars. This is the last nail in the coffin of what masculine and feminine might have been designed to be. I can't speak to the purpose on that. We've been lied to about how it's actually supposed to play out and function, and we've abused it to the point of now it's no longer going to be existing. And for those of you panicking about reproduction, it's not an issue. We are biologically designed still, and we have a real opportunity and a window here to turn everything around. So for those of you unfamiliar with the idea of androgyny or androgynous beings, that's what we were before Adam got here. Now, I don't know if Adam is even a true story, but we used to be androgynous, and then I don't know how it got here. I can't give credence to that. There's a bunch of different creation stories that involve a phallus being created, but there was a long period of time where we were on Earth not as separate entities, not as masculine and feminine. This is why the spiritual community is really by default biologically focusing on pairing the masculine and feminine within each of us, because they are preparing to again not be in separate bodies anymore. And there's mega art manga art out there I've seen that are also, so this is a global thing. This isn't just here in the US. This is a global thing where we're not gonna have those sexual organs anymore. We're not gonna have those sexual parts eventually. I can't give you a timeline on that, but that's where we're headed, and you're seeing that play out in real life with the incel, MGTOW, Red Pill, Agent Smith, and then you've got the 4B movement and the divorce rates and the birth rates and all that other stuff. This does not come out by accident. This isn't politically driven. This isn't narrative driven. The only thing is politics saw it coming and said, let's enrage the shit out of them and then take out as many as we can before whatever. Okay, that's what they're doing. That's how they're keeping control, is the Red Pill mega Agent Smith community. It's racking the brains of these I don't even want to call them men anymore. I don't want to call them men. Nope. There's men and then there's maggots. Okay. They are a decaying entity. They are the parasites that have been willing to become that rather than use any of their other human faculties that have based themselves solely in a Y chromosome existence. And that is why it's not that they're less than human, it's that they made certain choices where they do not see anybody else outside of them as human. They see themselves as human, but not anybody outside of themselves. I don't even think they see their so-called brothers as human. Because if they did, they'd tap them on the shoulder and be like, do you think this is really such a great idea? You think this is going to work out well for us? Because once they get finished raiding the streets, which they won't complete, but how it played out in Germany is once the soldiers completed their mission, people don't realize what happened to those soldiers. You want to talk about fucking horrific? Well, go listen if you're curious as to what happens to the soldiers, because that's what William Sascha Riley was, a soldier. That's what happens to soldiers. This is why they do not talk about shit. It wasn't just about what they had to do over in the war, it's what they did as brethren. This is why they also want vets off the streets, because vets will start blowing the whistle as to what's happening. Didn't want to do this, but like I was chit-chatting with the freaking circle. And they're like, you know, so you have to say something. I was like, I already did. And they're like, that's not going to do it. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so recovery. You recover yourself first. You call back your autonomy, you call back your sovereignty, then you take your toys, your Pentacles, your resources, whatever the fuck it is, tell Spotify and Amazon it's been real, but I can't fund my own demise. I am finished paying to have this shit brought upon not only myself but the rest of humanity. I'm finished funding my own misery. Thank you. Factory closed. Okay? Factory closed. And that's all we have to do is pull our resources and the factory closes. It is that simple. Matthew Cook put out a video demonizing both the left and the right. So, putting them down, basically. And saying, yeah, this is over. We're finished with this. Okay? And have we tolerated it for too long? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, we tolerated it for too long, and that's why it got here. For those of us who were screaming into the void, I salute you. Thank you. I love you. You are precious and sacred, and you are valid, and your purpose here is real. Okay. It's gonna be okay. Everything, you didn't do anything wrong. You did what you needed to do. Heard you screaming in the void. It's all good. Okay. But we do need to get down to reality. We got to get our full selves into the 3D, cut all the strings so that we can take the whole thing with us rather than putting ourselves into another state of delusion. And February 20th. So we've got time to make calls. I've already made my calls. I've already made arrangements. It didn't faze me. And I think that might just be, I've been hearing a lot from different people online in my circle. I think the abuse, it just got too much, and we decided not to self-abandon anymore, which is what abuse is designed to do. The abuser wants you to leave yourself. The abuser wants you to be outside of your body at all times, because once we are violated in those ways, we don't feel safe in the body. We don't feel like that's a place that we can go and be okay with ourselves. And that's why getting in the body, getting safe in the central nervous system is the key. And I think that that's already happening as defaults. I am running courses on that. I am running courses on the cosmos and how it directly correlates to the herbs and what's happening as lore would have it. So, ashwagandha helps with the nerves, not ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, not the other thing. I can't even think of it. What the heck is it called? Anyway, that helps you get safe in your body, central nervous system. Use some lavender. Boys get all huffy and puffy that makes you less masculine. Dude, if you saw your freaking wrong chromosome, you wouldn't be caring too much about growing a few pairs of man boobs. Okay? Try not to numb out, but central nervous system soothe. Take your palm, back of and on the heart and on the stomach, and just breathe. Cross your legs and lay down and breathe. Okay? Get into that deep belly breath and just talk to your central nervous system. Talk to it like it's your best friend. Explain to it exactly what you want. How do you want to live? How do you want to feel? Who's a vicious savage? And would be. I don't know if you can hear him or not. Door by door guys are walking through. I cannot believe that in fucking all of human consciousness, anybody's going door to door in the US anyway. Anyway. So. Okay. Also, you can do this or do this. I like doing this. And your body will automatically do that. You find your chest bone, your thalamus gland, your sun thalamus, they call it, and you just gently tap. And that, okay. Before you leave your house, if you have paranoia around that, find squares. Then you look for all the circles, triangles, yada, yada, yada. Then you start looking for colors before you even put that key in the ignition, okay? Start getting on the path to sovereign in the body. Start creating and carving out ways to get joy into your life. Period. The end. That's how we get through this. We shift our focus from the fear and the torture into joy. Okay, but we have to look at how we got here, or we're just going to take the crap from the past into the future. That's the key right now, is letting go of all the crap in the past, so that way your pathway is clear in the future. Otherwise, you're going to feel a little stuck, a little stagnant, more than you have been right now, and it's going to be more suffering for you. It's going to be more traumatic if you're being, stretched apart. So let go of all of those things in the past. You have to let them go. You have to let go of the idea that any institution has power over you. I love you. Keep your flame.